During our final exam, my girlfriend said one sentence that made her brother walk out crying. 2 hours later, she was the one leaving school in tears. My girlfriend Morgan had been obsessed with being the smartest person in every room since the day I met her. Not just smart, the smartest. She was genuinely gifted. Straight A's, honors classes, full academic scholarship waiting for her. But that wasn't enough. If someone scored higher on a test, she'd spiral. I watched her go 3 days without speaking after losing a class debate. She'd stay up crying over a 98, but only if someone else got a 99. Then her younger brother enrolled in our senior level AP classes. He was different, not just smart like Morgan, genius level intelligent. He had an IQ of 168. If intelligence was basketball, he was LeBron James. What made Morgan lose her mind the most wasn't just that he was better, it's that he didn't care about being better than her. He'd score hundreds while barely trying. That made Morgan go psycho. It started in September with a history exam. Morgan studied for 4 hours while her brother didn't study at all. She got a 96 and he got a 98. Morgan didn't speak to anyone for 2 days. I tried to tell her that her brother's spotlight doesn't dim hers, but she said not to get Shakespearean with her. In October, I watched her delete his essay at 2 a.m. the night before it was due. She looked satisfied when she told me about it. The next morning, however, he showed up to class calm as ever. Turns out when he woke up and realized what had happened, he wrote 5,000 words on ancient China in 2 hours. He got 100. I found Morgan crying in her car after she got 97. In November, she accidentally spilled coffee on his notes before a major test, but the kid had a photographic memory, so of course he took it from said memory and still outscored her. I remember saying this to Morgan, thinking maybe she'd finally realize she should be happy for her brother. But then the December finals happened. She stayed awake for 72 hours straight preparing. Her brother studied casually, flicking through his notes a couple times each night. Then he scored higher on every single exam. I found Morgan pulling her own hair out in the corner of the library. That's when I tried really talking to her, not backing down. This obsession isn't healthy. She snapped at me instantly. Of course you'd say that. You're okay with being mediocre. I told her there's a difference between being mediocre and trying to sabotage your own brother to score higher in geography. But she wasn't listening. During the spring semester, she fully lost it. She stopped sleeping properly, stopped eating. Every conversation became about finally beating him. 2 weeks before the finals, something changed. I heard Morgan on the phone. I don't care what it takes anymore. I'm beating him. After she hung up, I looked at her. Whatever you're planning, please don't. It's not worth it. She stared at me like I was a stranger. You wouldn't understand. Then she walked away. Finals week arrived. She was barely sleeping. The morning of our biggest exam, I watched her stare at her brother during setup. Her jaw was clenched. Something was very wrong. 20 minutes into the exam, Morgan stood up so fast her chair tipped backward and cleared her throat to grab every bit of attention she could. Everyone looked at her. She pointed her index finger at her brother and started screaming, "He's cheating! He's cheating!" Everyone stared in disbelief. Her brother looked at her dumbfounded. He's never made a scene before, never said a word in class, but this time he wasn't having it. He stood up too and faced Morgan. "Are you serious right now?" His voice shook. "You're just jealous I'm better than you. I've always been better than you, and you just can't accept that, can you?" It honestly felt like an anime scene. I looked over at Morgan. Her face twisted. She wasn't ready for him to bite back. That's when it happened. "Oh yeah?" she yelled back. "At least I wasn't molested and beaten by my bio dad, and now hide the fact I'm an adopted reject." The room froze. Nobody breathed. Her brother went completely pale. I stared at Morgan, then back at the brother. Nobody knew about this. Not me. Not even his closest friends by the looks on their faces. This was clearly his deepest trauma that he trusted her with, and she just weaponized it for a test grade. We all looked at the brother whose face was blank, empty, like something inside him had shut down. He stood up slowly, didn't look at anyone, didn't say anything, just walked out of the classroom. Some students had their hands over their mouths. Our teacher stood there frozen, not knowing what to do. I stared at Morgan. She was still standing, breathing hard. She looked around the room and seemed to realize what she'd done. The teacher took Morgan out immediately. She was gone for 20 minutes. When she came back, mascara was streaming down her face. She grabbed her things without looking at anyone and left. That night she texted me, "Please call me, I can explain." I called her once. "What you did was unforgivable." Then I ended it. Later I found out she lost her scholarship over it. She has to repeat senior year. Her brother retook the exam over summer. He's doing better now. She won that battle but destroyed everything else.